Holding all these lies I told you, feeling like somehow I spoiled you. Hello, this is Mr. Hornsby 3. This is the Mr. Hornsby 3 show. I figured I'd do a little goofy skit at the beginning of the video before I went on with the video. But today I am going to be talking about the moves my Indianapolis Colts made in free agency and how that might impact the playoff race this year. So let's get into it. Before I get into it, I'd appreciate if you guys go check out my modern day wrestling video I did Monday, where I talked about TNA becoming a new ECW. I also talked about the John Cena heel turn, which I'll probably mention something about the John Cena heel turn after I'm done talking about all this other stuff. And then yesterday I started to build to Wrestle Figure Mania, and I botched a couple of the promos. Like Booker T and Bam Bam Bigelow, that promo was kind of botched. If you want to see me botch, go check out those promos yesterday. Also, fake sponsorship. This video is sponsored by Coke Zero. No. Alright, anyway, let's get into it. So, my Indianapolis Colts this year was 8-9. They brung back all, 43 starters or however many starters it was last year. Every single starter at every position and every single special teams person. And look what happened. We went 8-9. This year, after the season was over, Chris Ballard said, you know what, he's got to do better at making his team better. And hallelujah, it only took him 9 motherfucking years to figure out that he needed to do something different to make this team a playoff contender. But, you know, let's start with the first big signing we did this past week. And that was, we were able to sign Cam Bynum from the Minnesota Vikings. Really good safety, really good free safety. We needed a really good free safety. And boy, that was one of the biggest needs we had going into this offseason was safety. Because we're set at strong safety with Nick Cross, but we needed a free safety that could do better than what Julian Blackmon did last year. Then, the icing on the cake, we get Tiberius Ward, who just was in a Super Bowl over a year ago. And we needed a good corner too, and we got a good corner. Then, who else did he pick up? Well, we also picked up Daniel Jones. I don't know. Daniel Jones to me just sucks, you know. If Richardson cannot beat out Daniel Jones for the starting quarterback job, if the middle of the season Richardson's doing bad and we have to bring Daniel Jones in, then Richardson needs to go after that season. Because honestly, Daniel Jones is garbage. Hot garbage. And I think we needed a better option at backup quarterback. We really did. Speaking of backups, we got a backup running back. What was his name? Khalil Herbert. Yeah, we got Khalil Herbert. Backup running back. I think he played for the Bengals last year. He also played for the Bears and all that stuff. And it's about freaking time we got a good backup guy, because once we lost Zach Moss last year, we did not do anything to bring in any other good backup running back than Jonathan Taylor, because we know Taylor's going to be a starter. And now Khalil Herbert is going to be the backup. And he can spell Jonathan Taylor, so we're not having to count on him every single time this year. Um, then we picked up a defensive tackle, backup defensive tackle, because we got rid of Roquan Davis because he sucked. And I gotta say, outside of Daniel Jones, I was pretty happy with what we did in free agency this year. Now, yeah, can we get a guard? Maybe, but, you know. Well, I'm going to talk about the bad of what we lost this offseason, too, so, you know, in free agency. So I'll talk about that in a minute, but, yeah, I mean, I think Chris Ballard decided, finally going to get my head out of my ass. My job is on the line. This team has not won a division since I've been here. This team has not won an opening game since I've been here. This team has not been the standard of excellence it used to be during the Peyton Manning era. And even early in the Andrew Luck era, we were still pretty good. But, you know, hopefully with frickin' Richardson going to work with this Chris Hess guy, hopefully that helps him get better. And Richardson can come out and just ball out. He could be the guy people have been comparing him to. Not analysts of that, but like, you know, fans and that have been comparing him to Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson went and improved his throwing after his first year. This was Richardson's first full year because he didn't get injured too much this year. And hopefully he can stay healthy for the remainder, for this whole next year, because that's one of the biggest problems with Richardson is he's been injured. And he hasn't played a lot of games in college or in the NFL. So hopefully he stays healthy. Hopefully this Chris S. guy helps him get better. And we can finally be excited about number 5 as quarterback. If not, then adios, amigo. Because, you know, we don't need a bad quarterback, especially with all the off-season moves that Chris Ballard's made so far this year. Now, some key pieces we lost, though. I'll talk about the key pieces the key pieces we gained was Tredarius Ward and Cam Bynum and a good backup running back. Some of the pieces we lost was Dio Adegbo. Now, look, Dio Adegbo, I was hoping we'd keep him, and he could be what Raheem Brock used to be for us when we had Mathis and Freeney. But, which I'll talk about our edge rush here in a minute, because, you know, people are still disrespecting one of our edge rushers on this team. Despite the fact this guy was our sack leader last year, even had more sacks than DeForest Buckner. And despite the fact that this guy has improved every year that he's played. Now, yeah, 2023, his pressure rate wasn't that good, but his pressure rate was better this past year. But anyway, so I was hoping we could keep Dio and have him, you know, be that guy in the middle that could, like, get pressure so that the edge guys could get to the quarterback better. But, you know, Dio Adegbo, I think the best season he had as an Indianapolis Colt was last year, 2023, when he had 8 sacks. His pressure rates have been good and all that, but the sack total has really not been that great. And, you know, that's why when I freaking watched the episode where, you know, Bring the Juice was talking about some of the free agents we should keep that are going to be free agents from our team. And he talked about Dio Adegbo and said, you know, I think if he was used right, and if he was in a Lou Anarumo system, he'd probably use like. The guy started last year alongside Quiddy Pay, and he only managed to get 3 sacks. But, and you know, and that's the thing too with the edge, which, like I said, I'll get into the edge here in a minute. But I freaking called him out on it because I'm like, dude, every time you sit there and give praise to all these other edge rushers who hasn't done much, like Taekwon Lewis, and I like Taekwon Lewis. I liked Dio Adegbo. I liked Kamoko Ture until I realized he was terrible. But You praise all these and Laiatu Latu. I think he could be the next Dwight Freeney for us. If he, or Robert Mathis, either or. If he can get more sacks than what he got last year, because he's already good at getting pressures. If he gets more sacks, I think he'll be even better. And like I said, I'll talk about the edge here in a minute after I talk about all the key pieces, but I want to get into this. But I called this dude out, Cody Felger, because he's bashing one other edge guy that says, oh, I think he's reached the ceiling, but each year that guy's improved, while Dio's only had one good year, and that was 2023. So, I don't know. It's just crazy how people do. And it's not just Cody Felger. It's everybody that's in Colts Nation that freaking bashing. But yeah, I want to keep Dio. I think Dio could have been better this past year. I mean this year, but heck, the Bears paid him a boatload of money. Why, I have no idea. They overpaid for him. I was thinking if we could get him on a nice, solid 2-year deal, Dio could show what he really could be. But anyway, that didn't happen. So we lost Dio Digbo. I was a little upset about that. Not too upset because, I feel like his best year was 2023. He did not have a good year last year. And all the other years he was in the league, he ain't had good years. And I don't know what the Bears seen in him to make them think, oh yeah, this guy we got to pay a lot of money to. I mean, yeah, he's good at playing outside and inside. I mean, and heck, honestly, I think had we kept Dio, whenever DeForest Buckner's contract's up, or whenever he retires, we probably could have moved Dio in there at defensive tackle. And he would have been a good replacement. But, yeah, we lost him, so, hey, is what it is. That's how it goes in the NFL. But, I was a little upset about losing Dio, but not majorly upset. The next guy, though, that we lost, I am extremely upset we lost. And that is Will Fries. We lost Will Fries this past season. I think he went to Minnesota. I think him and Ryan Kelly both went to Minnesota. And I'm like, oh man, if anybody that is a free agent for our team that we must re-sign, it has to be Will Fries. This guy was a 7th round pick. They were going to make him a tackle, but then they moved him to guard. And then, when the whole debacle with frickin' Matt Pryor and all that didn't work out, and then they put frickin' Fries in, Fries was a hell of a lot better than frickin' Matt Pryor was. But, oh my frickin' God, you let him go. That's the one guy you should have paid to stay. You should have paid him and kept him on the team. Now we got to go find a guard. Whether it's free agency or whether it's freaking in the draft. We'll probably get a guy in the draft. But I'm like, no, why? That was the one must guy you re-signed. You re-signed Ashton Doolin, which I guess is okay because he's a good special teams player. And he's a good 5th or 6th receiver for us, so that's good. But, oh my God, letting Will Fries go was the biggest mistake we made on this team, was letting him go. But we did keep Braden Smith. We restructured Braden Smith's contract, but I think after next year he's done. So, Gonsalves is probably going to take over next year. Now, are they going to move Gonsalves? I've heard a lot of people say they might just move Gonsalves into guard, and then after this year, he can go back to tackle. I'm like, oh, that could work. And that might be what they're thinking about doing. Who knows with the way the Colts look. What happens if he doesn't play well at guard and he's just better at tackle? I mean, look at Danny Pinter. We started him at guard and he was better at center. But, yeah. We also re-signed Wesley French and Danny Pinter, which I think are good, reliable backups. I think Danny Pinter should be backing up Tanner Borellini as center. And Wesley French should be backing up Quentin Nelson at left guard. Who else did we lose? We lost Julian Blackman. Don't really care. Julian Blackman, to me, only had like maybe 1 or 2 good seasons, and the rest of the time he was either injured or he didn't do so well. So, who knows? I think Bynum was a good pickup when we picked him up. And we lost CJ Speed. No big tears for me because I'd rather see Jalen Carlisle start anyway at linebacker. And honestly, if I'm the frickin' Colts, well, I'll talk about this in a minute when I talk about what we should get in the draft. Because I'm going to talk about what we're going to get in the draft too. Because this is a whole Colts topic video about my Colts. Because I'm a big Colts fan. But anyway, yeah. Try not to make it too long though. I don't want to make it too long. Because that takes away the specialty of the frickin' playthroughs. Because I go like 50 minutes or so. I'm going like 10 to 20 minutes less than what I'm going in the playthroughs. That's kind of bad. But anyway. So yeah, AJ Speed, no big whoop that we lost him. I'd rather see frickin' Jalen Carlisle. I think Jalen Carlisle could become our next Jarius Leonard. Honestly. Or Shaquille Leonard. Whatever. But, as long as he don't get injured as much as Shaquille Leonard did. Secondary, I don't think we lost too much in the secondary. Everybody we had last year, we got back. We still got Rodney Thomas Jr., which I think they should just cut him and get a different backup or safety. And heck, you could even frickin' cut him and flip frickin' what's his face over to the frickin' free safety. What's his frickin' name? I was just playing Madden and I can't even think of the guy's name. But that guy's injured too, so there's no guarantee he would stay healthy. At least Rodney Thomas has been healthy. We lost Ronnie Harrison Jr., which I think was a good backup to Nick Cross. But I'm pretty sure we'll pick up a good backup, either in the draft or in free agency. Yeah. Daniel Scott. Yeah, that's the guy's name. Daniel Scott. You could flip him over to free safety behind frickin' Bynum. He'd probably be better than Rodney Thomas, but Rodney Thomas, like I said, has been healthier, so yeah. What else did we lose? That's pretty much it. We didn't lose too many people. I mean, we let Moai Cox go because, he's not the tight end we need. I think we also we're letting Kylan Granson go too because he's not good either. I don't know what they're going to do with Drew Ogletree and freaking Jelani Woods and all that, but I don't know. We'll have to see. We lost Grant Stewart, who was a good freaking special teams guy for us, and played some linebackers, and we lost him. But, I'm not too worried about some of the losses. The only one that really irked me, it irked me a little bit about not getting Dio back, but then we still got Samson Ebukam and Tyquan Lewis. I can fill that gap that I wanted frickin' Dio to be. And Will Fries, losing Will Fries, because I wasn't too upset about Brian Kelly, because Brian Kelly, one, he's getting old, and two, he doesn't stay healthy. Gotta have healthy guys if you're gonna be a top tier team. I mean, heck, there's a few times where Tanner Bortolini had to step in and play anyway, So all the big losses we lost, not too upset about it, except for Dio a little and frickin' Will Fries. Now, before I get to what we should pick up in the draft, or, even in free agency before free agency's over, let's talk about how people in Colts Nation are still disrespecting Kwity Paye. I've been hearing people talk about, they're going to get Trey Hendrickson and blah, 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 blah. Now look, I'm not saying Kwity Paye's great. I'm not saying, well, when we first got him, I say he might be the next Freeney. And he possibly could still be. Depends on who they got starting next to him next year. And I'm hoping it's Kwity Paye on the left and Laiatu Latu starting on the right. Because those are the two guys that I think are our best defensive ends. Samson Ebukam is getting old. And he only had one good year, and that was freaking 2023. And he was injured most of this past year. Tyquan Lewis, yeah, he's good at getting pressure. He's good at getting pressure in the middle. But he doesn't get many sacks. And he's a good run defender. So, yeah, Tyquan Lewis, I can see why we keep him. He's good at getting pressure, but he doesn't get many sacks, and sometimes he's inconsistent. But he's also a really good run stuffer. So, yeah. I don't know where all the hate for Kwity Paye is at. I mean, like I said, this guy has improved every year since he freaking came in the league. He went from 4.5 sacks from year 1 to 6 in year 2, which would almost have been 2 more than what he had the year before. Then he had 8.5 last year in 2023. And then this past year, he was our sack leader with 8 sacks. The closest guy on our defensive line that got us sacks. And like I said, his pressure rate was better. Yeah, his pressure rate in 2023 wasn't too good. But his pressure rate this past year was a little bit better. And he got 8 sacks. And had he gotten a half sack more, he would have got the same amount he got the year before. But everybody kept saying, oh, we think he's hit his ceiling. He said his ceiling. If his ceiling is 8 sacks, or maybe more than 8 sacks every year, I'd rather take that over Dio Adigbo, who I think really did hit his ceiling in 2023, because he didn't do nothing in 2024, he didn't do nothing in 2022, he didn't do nothing in 2021. So I think I'd rather stick with Kwity Paye. And I think everybody keeps thinking, oh, we're looking at getting Trey Hendrickson and all that stuff, even analysts and that. I think Chris Ballard is fine with Kwity Paye as our starting left end. Because the first year they tried starting him, he was right end, and he was terrible at that. Then his second year, they moved him to left, he got better, and he's been good on the left side. And now we got Laiatu Latu on the right. Laiatu and Kwity could be our next Mathis and Freeney. But people don't want to see that. They just want to give Kwity... They don't even give Kwity Paye no credit at all for anything he done. Dude busted his ass in 2023 to get better. Busted his ass in 2024 before freaking the season started to get better, and he did better. Now maybe next year, maybe he gets 9 sacks, especially being alongside him, Latu, Stewart, and freaking Buckner. I think that could be good. And everybody disrespects him like, oh, he's a good run defender. He's a good run defender. Okay, so he's a good run defender and he can get sacks. Then what's the issue? And yeah, people can say pressure rate is key, and like I said, his pressure rate was better last year. I just don't get what Colts Nation wants. What does Kwity Paye have to do for Colts Nation to stop giving him so much hate? That's what I want to know. What does he have to do to keep Colts Nation from giving him so much? Let's say he goes out and he does get 10 sacks. And let's say Latu gets like 9 or something. Are people still going to discredit him? Probably. Colts Nation will be like, well, Kwity Paye, he's just a bust. This guy can't do nothing, but yet he gets more sacks than most of our defensive line did last year. And then the year before, he was our second sack leader behind Samson Ebukam in the edge rush room. And then third was Dio Adigbo. But, Kwity Paye's terrible. Let's get rid of him. But we'll keep the guy that's only had 1 year where he improved, and then the rest of the time he ain't done jack squat. That makes no sense to me with Colts Nation. It does not make no sense why people complain about Kwity Paye when he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's doing what he was paid to do, and that's get sacks. You don't get 8.5 sacks one year and then get 8 sacks the next year, and people give you hate. If this was someone like Dwight Freeney or Robert Mathis, they might say, yeah, you know, Mathis is still great, but, you know, he had a down year. But nobody gives this guy credit. That's why I say I'm glad we're going to have Latu starting on the right and Quiddy starting on the left. I think Sampson's just going to be a backup to Latu. And Sampson could probably be a good key component in case Latu gets injured next year. A good component. Now, I don't know what we're going to do with the guy to back up Quiddy Pay, but I honestly don't think Chris Ballard is worried about Quiddy Pay being bad, because yeah, if he was looking into a guy that could get like 17.5 sacks like Trey Hendrickson, that's a different story. But I don't know. I think Quiddy Pay's been doing fine. I mean, each year he's improved. Now, yeah, he didn't get 8.5 sacks like he did last year in 2023, but he was almost to 8.5. Half sack more, or maybe even another sack, he would have been at 9 sacks. So I don't get why he's getting so much hate. And they talk about, oh, his production ain't as good. But yet everybody thinks, well, you know, Latu's going to magically become the Dwight Freeney overnight. You know, well, I will say, though, I think he can be. Or Robert Mathis, whichever one you want to. But, you know, I wish people would quit being ungrateful with Quiddy Pay. The guy has been the closest to 10 sacks than any other edge guy outside of frickin' Samson Ebukam in 2023. Out of all the frickin' guys we had, you know, Quiddy Pay has gotten closer to 10 sacks than anybody. All the people Ballard's drafted before. Ben Banagou, Kamoko Toure, Taekwon Lewis. I don't even know if Ballard drafted those guys or not. Who knows? But those guys have not gotten 8.5 or 8 sacks. Even Dio Adegbo, he got 8 sacks in 2023, and then he did nothing this year except for get like, what, 3 sacks? Which is 1 sack less than what Latu got. So, I don't know. I don't know where all this hate for Quiddy Pay comes. I seriously don't. The guy has worked hard to be better. Changed his diet. Trained harder and all that stuff. And he's the one that's getting disrespected by Colts Nation. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I'm glad we're going to have Latu, which I'm hoping that's what happens. Latu starts on right. Quiddy starts on left. And that's our starting edge rushers for this coming year. Because I don't think anybody's better than either one of them. I don't think anybody on our edge group is better than Latu and Quiddy. Quiddy and Latu are our 2 best edge rushers. I feel that way. I don't give a damn what the rest of Colts Nation feels about Quiddy Pay. I think him and Latu are our 2 best edge rushers. And those are the guys that we should count on for the future. And those are the guys we should count on to get us to the playoffs and all that stuff from edge rush. And they're both still young. Taekwon Lewis sure the hell ain't going to be what Quiddy Pay's been. Samson Ebukam, he could go back to what he was doing before 2023. He can go back to getting 5 sacks per year. You never know. And plus, he's older. So, I don't know why there's so much freaking hate for Quiddy Pay. When he's gotten 8.5 and 8 sacks these past 2 years. And yeah, maybe he was a half sack less than what he got the year prior. But it was still in the 8 range. It wasn't like he, you know, followed up an 8.5 season sack total with only 6 or 4 or 3 or anything like that. he went out and got 8 sacks. And plus he got injured for a couple games. He might have had 9 or 10 had he not missed a couple of games. You never know. But everybody wants, oh, let's get Trey Hendrickson. Let's trade for him. Get Kwity Paye out of here. He's terrible. He's terrible. He ain't improved in the past few years that he's been playing. But people think, oh, Latu's going to be automatically better. And I hope Latu is better next year because I like Latu. And I was excited for Latu. And like I said, after I reacted to the draft, I'm like, now we got our guys. We got Kwity Paye on the left and we got Latu on the right. That's what we needed. So, I don't care what the rest of Colts Nation thinks of Kwity Paye. I think Kwity Paye is good. And he might even be better. If he doesn't get healthy, he might get 10 sacks next year. You never know. Maybe him and Latu both get 10 sacks. Who knows? But I'm sick of people hating on Kwity Paye. It's just stupid. When all the other guys ain't nowhere near what those guys are. Latu develops into the player we think he could be. And then you got Kwity Paye right there. Boom. No quarterback will be safe. In my opinion. Especially if Kwity Paye keeps working hard to keep getting better. But we'll see how he does this offseason. I mean, he is going into contract year, but I think Chris Ballard will re-sign Kwity Paye. Especially if he at least gets 8 or 9 sacks again this year. Even if he might even get 10. But like if he gets 8 or 9 sacks, I think Ballard will re-sign Kwity Paye to stay alongside of Latu. So, I don't know. Now, yeah, do we need a good backup for him? Yeah, we could probably go with Isaiah Land to back him up. But, you know, who knows? And we could have Latu, Ebukam, and Lewis on the other side. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But I don't get where all this Kwity Paye hate is coming from. I just don't get it. Because to me, a guy could get up to 8 sacks and 8.5 sacks. That's a guy worth keeping. It's not a guy that I would freaking want to lose to another team. But everybody's so down in the dumps about losing freaking Dayo Adegbo. One good year. While Kwity Paye has improved every year he's been in the league. I don't know. I think he deserves more respect from the people than he's getting. And I think it's just crazy how disrespectful Colts Nation is to Kwity Paye. That guy busts his tail. And he's had 8.5 and 8 sacks past 2 years. And he got 8 even with missing a couple of games. When the rest of our guys that you praise, like DeForest Buckner, who only got 6. Dayo Adegbo, who everybody said, oh, I think Dayo's got a higher ceiling than frickin' Kwity. When they drafted Kwity and Dayo in the same draft. Oh, Tyquan Lewis, I think, better than Kwity Paye. And outside of frickin' Latu, I don't see anybody could become the alpha. It's just annoying. Well, and I'll be honest with you. I think, you know, since Kwity Paye's been so focused on being a better pass rusher these past couple years, he hasn't done so well as a run stuffer these past couple of years. But he's been a better pass rusher, but nobody wants to talk about that. I don't know. That's Colt Nation for you. Starting to sound like the 49ers freaking fans and all that stuff. No, I don't know. It's just irritating. So, yeah, I think it's going to be Latu and Kwity starting at the edge positions. And you know what? Both of them could get double-digit sacks this year. Because, you know, people aren't going to be able to block both of them. And they might not be able to block them at all. But, I don't know. People just, I don't know. Colts Nation just gets on my nerves with how much hate they give Kwity Paye. I don't hear anybody saying anything bad about Tyquan Lewis anymore. And a lot of Colts Nation is more upset about losing Dio Adegbo than frickin' than anything. It was just, I don't know. Just nonsense. Just straight up nonsense with these people, I swear. You know, and you know what? One day, when I do go to a Colts game, if I can find a Quiddy Pay and Latu frickin' jersey, I'm going to get both of them. Because I think Quiddy Pay is a better edge rusher than people's giving him credit for. And Latu could be really good next year. And years after that. But, yeah, I mean, it's just stupid. Alright, so let's get to some draft needs. And I think for draft needs, I'd say one of the big needs is, you know, linebacker. Just in case Carline's doesn't pay off. I also think we should get a freaking linebacker that's going to eventually replace Zaire Franklin. Because I don't think Zaire Franklin's as good as Zaire Franklin thinks he is. He might have worked hard to get where he's at right now as a starter and a captain. But I don't think he's as good as he thinks he is. So maybe getting a guy that could possibly replace Zaire Franklin as early as next year could be a possibility. And, you know, maybe backup outside linebacker would be good too. But I think we're pretty good on backups. But just in case, you know, Carlisle doesn't pan out. That's a big need. But the biggest need is tight end. And I hope and pray that Tyler Warren makes it to frickin' 14. So we can take him. We can have our future Dallas Clark. Because that's what we need. A tight end. I think even a better receiver option would be good. A better receiver one or something option would be good. But we'll have to see how it goes. These drafts are always tricky. Also needs some backup safeties, backup corners. Need a lot of different things. But mostly it's backup stuff. I mean, I think the two biggest needs right now is probably guard and tight end. If we get Tyler Warren and then we can get a guard in the second or third round that's pretty good, that'll be fine. But that's our biggest needs is guard and tight end. And, you know, the rest of the people just be backups. I also think we need to sign a reliable backup guard for the right side of the guards. Because, I mean, what if the guard we get is injury prone? The guy that we get as a starter. What if he gets injured and he's injury prone and all that stuff? Then we need a reliable guy to fill in when he's out. Kind of like how Ryan Kelly, you know, Pinter and frickin' Bordellini were those reliable backup guys. So I don't know. But I'm excited for the pickups we got in free agency. The corner, the safety, and the frickin' backup running back. I'm not so excited about Daniel Jones. Oh, God. Yeah, Daniel Jones just, I don't know. I can't praise Daniel Jones in any way. It's kind of like with Carson Wentz when we got him. And I was the one person that said he's going to be as bad as he was in Philadelphia. And he ended up being as bad as he was in Philadelphia. But, the losses, the only two I really am upset about is really losing Will Fries. That's the major one I'm upset about losing. And then Dio Dingbo I'm just a little upset about because, you know, he could have had a good trio with Latu, Quiddy, and frickin' Dio, but, you know, is what it is. I think the Bears overpaid Dio, and I don't know. Maybe Dio turns out to be better at a different team. Sometimes a guy's bad at one place but better at another place, so we'll see. But anyway, that'll do it. I watched the John Cena, before I go, I watched the John Cena promo and the heel thing, and I was like, oh, God. I thought it was kind of stupid, you know. He's like, oh, I'm breaking up with you. And then he kept saying 25 years he's been booed. Honestly, the guy started in 2002. So if he's been being disrespected and in a toxic relationship with the fans For 25 years, that's crazy. Well, technically, it's been 23 years. But really, when Cena started getting over in like late 03 going into 04 and all that, and then into 05, 06 is when people really turned on him. So the fact that he was saying, 25 years I've had to deal with abuse from you people. I don't know. I mean, I like his intensity he brought to the promo. I like the fact that he did bring up that people just kept saying, let's go Cena, Cena sucks, and all the other stuff. But other than that, other than the intensity and a few other things he said that he was telling the truth about, really just came off as freaking a dumb promo. I'm breaking up with you. I've been in a toxic relationship with you ever since I've been in this company. 25 years ago. Technically, it would be 23 years ago because it started in 2002. 2025, it would be 23 years ago. 23 years ago, because 22 would have made it, 20 years. And, 2025 makes it 23 years. 3 years after he debuted. I don't know. That was just a dumb promo. I didn't care for it too much. I mean, outside of the intensity he brought to it and some of the stuff he said that he was, was true, and how the fans had just totally turned on him and abandoned him. All that, yeah. But all the other stuff, I just thought it was kind of dumb. I thought Hulk Hogan's heel promo was way better than John Cena's heel promo. I'll just say that. I mean, even when Stone Cold turned heel in his frickin' promo the night after, I thought that one was stupid too. And I'm a big Stone Cold fan. I'm not a Cena fan. I think he could have done a little bit better with that promo. But, yeah. So, 2002. That's 23 years, John. 23 years that you were in the toxic relationship with the fans. Not 25. You didn't come into the company in 2000. You came in the company in 2002. Well, you came on the main roster in 2002. He was on there, part of their developmental, which was OVW. But 23 years. Get your math right, for Christ's sakes. And he called the fans idiots. He can't even realize how long he was been on the main roster for WWE. Anyway, but I did like his intensity he brought to it. And some of his reasons, I did like the reasons why he did it. But the rest of it was just stupid. So it was a half and half promo. It was better than frickin' Stone Cold when Stone Cold turned heel. But I think Hogan still has the best heel promo he ever cut at Bash at the Beach 96 when he went heel. So I think Hogan's was the best still, to this day. And Cena, he could have topped Hogan's, but, I don't know. But the intensity was good, and some of the points he made was good, but the rest of it it came off as stupid. But anyway, and then he came and realized it was 23 years, John! 23 years! 23 years! Anyway. That'll do it. Please like this video, leave a comment, subscribe for more. Follow my Facebook fan page, the Mr. Hornsby 83 Show. Follow my Facebook business page, Trigen Toys. I've done put up a lot of, and I'll be posting up when we're going to the flea market. We were going to go this month, but then we decided to wait till April. So, anyway, and check out the other two videos I did this week. The video Monday, and then my build the Wrestle Figure Mania yesterday. Catch you guys later. Peace out.